Now to the latest developments from Hurricane Dorian. Right now, the powerful storm is gaining strength as it slowly moves over the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Forecasters say Dorian is now headed toward Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, and will still pack a punch as a Category 3 hurricane. Over the holiday weekend, Dorian, a Category 5 hurricane, left a path of destruction, pounding the Bahamas, killing 5 people. RT correspondent John Huddy is live in Fort Lauderdale, which is under tropical storm watch. John, what do you have for us?
Well, you're right. It's under tropical storm watch here at Lauderdale by the Sea, but you wouldn't really know it at this point, Sarah. It's actually quite a nice day. Every now and again, we get some wind picking up. My anemometer shows wind gusts of about 20 miles per hour. A little bit of rain, but mostly people are coming out, watching the surfers, watching the bodyboarders. The swells have definitely picked up, kicked up by Hurricane Dorian, and what we're essentially getting here in South Florida are really, if you look at the satellite, the outer bands of Dorian as it continues its track essentially northeastward along the southeastern coastline of the United States. But we were very lucky here in South Florida. You may recall on Friday, the Dorian's track models were showing that after moving over the Bahamas, essentially possibly hitting a direct hit in South Florida from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. Well, that didn't happen. It hit the Abacos Islands in the Bahamas over the weekend as a devastating Cat 5. At least 5 people were killed. Then it hit Grand Bahama overnight into yesterday, where it stalled for essentially 24 hours before now moving very slowly at about 1 mile per hour on that northeastward track. So at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to hit the United States directly, but the coastal communities from Fort Lauderdale northward in Florida to Orlando, Jacksonville, into Georgia, and then into Carolinas are bracing not only for tropical storm force possible winds. Again, we're not getting that here, but that's anywhere from 35 miles per hour to 73 miles per hour. That is a potential as you go north along the coastline. But the biggest killer with any hurricane, with any tropical cyclone, is the storm surge, and that is something that these coastal communities are bracing for, from Orlando up into the Carolinas, for a storm surge anywhere from 10 to 12 feet above sea level. Right now, we're seeing some localized flooding in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, but nothing too terrible. Again, the waves are up, waves height, the swells are up, but we continue to track Dorian as it moves northward. Some good news to report, Sarah. Fort Lauderdale International Airport reopened at noon today. It had been shut down over the Labor Day holiday weekend because of Dorian. That said, Miami Airport is open as well, Miami International, but Orlando International Airport remains closed, as does Jacksonville, as we continue to watch the track. Again, we were very lucky here in South Florida, with the exception of a little bit of wind and rain. We really did dodge a bullet, but I don't want to speak too soon, because one thing I should mention, out in the Atlantic, off the coast of Africa, there's another system that's brewing at this point that has a 90% potential of developing into a tropical cyclone, into a hurricane in the next 48 hours. And as we've seen before, as history has proven, some of the biggest, baddest, most destructive hurricanes have formed in that region of the Atlantic. So as we continue to track Dorian's very slow churn northeastward along the coast of the United States, we're also taking a hard look at that new system in the mid-Atlantic. That's the latest here in Fort Lauderdale. Sarah, back to you.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Thank you so much for that report, John Huddy from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.